Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As you know, I've had a long association with the racing industry, and of course, Bart Cummings has been around those discussions, talking about good times, talking about good horses, talking about good trainers. It is with great sadness that we say farewell to Bart Cummings, the Cup's King. He will be remembered as a titan for the industry, the great trainer this country has ever seen. The man was so quick with a reply and so witty with his sayings. I remember Bart once told a steward who had asked him or told him he had too many flies around his stable. And Bart replied, how many am I allowed? How many am I supposed to have? Could you give me some indication? Well, that blew the steward away. He was always so quick on his feet and quick with his reply. Bart came from a family of trainers. His father, James, trained Comic Court to win the 1950 Melbourne Cup. Bart was the strapper for that horse. Bart received his training licence in 1953 and set up his stables in Glenelg in South Australia. He had to wait 5 long years to get his first big win in the South Australian Derby. But from there he soared. He hit the big time in 1965. He won all these cup races in 1 year. The Melbourne Cup, the Adelaide Cup, the Caulfield Cup, the Sandown Cup, the Brisbane Cup and the Queen's Cup, all in 1 year. A magnificent feat. Bart crammed a lot of memories into his 87 years. One of the most memorable for me was the time Big Faloo, his horse, was scratched from the 1969 Melbourne Cup. Bart had taken this horse to the Melbourne Cup with his team and settled the horse into the stables, and then, as a trainer does on a big day like the Melbourne Cup, he went off to socialise with some of his owners. He was only away from the horse for about an hour when a strapper came down to advise him that Big Faloo had developed a scouring, and a bad scouring of that. The horse had been severely drugged by a large dose of laxatives. I believe Bart knew he knew who was behind the scene of this crime, but lack of evidence, he could not press charges. But Bart knew who it was, all right. Don't make any mistake about that. Even though he led a charmed life, he hit hard times, like the rest of us did in the late 1980s and early 1990s with the recession. He brought a lot of horses, as he did on every year, some from New Zealand. But his team of owners had such bad times they couldn't pay Bart for the horses he had purchased on their behalf. And this put Bart under a lot of financial pressure. But as Bart was a fighter, he soon kicked back and won many more cups after that.
He did.
His final Melbourne Cup win was a horse called Viewed back in 2008, exactly 50 years after entering his first Melbourne Cup starter. 12 Melbourne Cups, a fantastic achievement, won by 11 horses. He had one horse called Think Big. It won 2 Melbourne Cups back in 75, 76. 268 Group 1 winners. Fantastic achievement. My condolences to his family, his wife Velma, or Vel, her sons Anthony, grandsons James and Edwards, who are following in the granddad's or dad's steps, and all the rest of the family attached. On the first Tuesday in November, I'll be raising a toast to the memories of Bart Cummings. Here's to the Cup King. Thank you.
Yeah.